Okay, now that we have all of our sort of grouping layers set up here, I can go ahead and close down some of these. And the last thing I want to add is that occlusion pass. If you recall, under our viewer settings here, let's go ahead and kind of bring this back up a little bit. We have our AO intensity set to 0, right? If we want to kind of multiply over the current ambient occlusion map, we can kind of bring that in like that, bring it up to 100%, whatever. But I want to leave that off. I don't want that to be like a hardware addition. I want this to be embedded into our actual layering system here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another layer here. And again, I'm not going to make it a group or a folder, so to speak. I'm actually going to come in here and just add a fill layer. And that fill layer I'm going to drag all the way to the top because the top has the priority. And as you can see, it kind of overrides everything. I'm going to only apply this to the color map, as you can see here. Now, instead of choosing a color, obviously, which I can choose red or whatever, I'm going to choose a base color file here. Now, where am I going to get that from? Well, if I go to my actual project folder, you can see the ambient occlusion bake that we created, and I'm going to literally drag that onto this little gray area. Not this area here, but this here, and hit and let go. Now, the first thing you'll notice that it seems a bit odd, like why does that line up? Now, this is kind of a really dumb thing that they have in Substance Painter. They have the UV scale set up 3 times as big. So you can see you have the UV scale X and Y here, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the UV scale, click in here, and these are both locked together. So I'm going to go ahead and put this to a value of 1. And now you can see if I go ahead and turn this on and off, that is the occlusion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to multiply. So instead of normal, I'm going to click on multiply, and it's going to erase the white areas and leave the black areas. So let's just go ahead and take a look. We're getting some strange result here. Let's take a look. It seems like we're getting a white area. See if I can kind of play with this a little bit. That's a bit strange. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Let me go over here to my actually, you know what? We never actually made a mask for our actual garbage bin itself. Sort of like looking at an elephant with a microscope here. So I'm just going to come in here and add another folder. And I knew I missed something. I'm going to put that at the top. And I'll go ahead and call this the garbage bin. It's like the big garbage bin. Once again, I will add a mask, add mask with color selection. And I'm going to click on the color and just choose that nasty green. And now I'm going to put something in there. So again, I'll choose a regular material here, and I'll choose, oh, I don't know, let's try this painted, whatever this is, painted steel. I'll drop it into the garbage bin. There we go. So now we have everything assigned. I know I missed something there, as you can see, but then this occlusion, I'll go ahead and label it occlusion. And you can see if I just turn it off and on, it's set to multiply. I can change the opacity of it if I find that to be too intense. And if I want to double this up, you can actually duplicate this layer. So you can see right click and duplicate layer. And now I've added twice the amount of shadowing in this area. So it might be a little too much, obviously. You can see just by adding that second layer, we really add some weight. So if I want to, I can take this and take the second one and bring it down maybe just a hair. So maybe like 28%. So I got these 2 layers, occlusion 1. I'll go ahead and label this occlusion 2. So occlusion second layer. And maybe I'll want to group these 2 together. So again, I'll select these 2 here. And let's go ahead and make a folder. And grab these 2, left mouse drag into the folder. Call this occlusion folder. This should always be on the top, as you can see here. Close up all these here. And what it does is it's going to be, and here's some really here's something that you should also notice. Now that I've grouped it, we have to set the group compositing thing here to multiply, which is a bit obnoxious. Okay, kind of annoying. But you have to also, so it's not just the individual materials that you have to set up, or the fill layers, I should say, but you actually have to put your actual folder to 100%. So this is another good thing we've learned in the processes. So now it has a lot of weight to it. If I go into my iRay right now, you can see how it looks. Has a nice heavy weighty feel around the edges. It doesn't feel like it weighs nothing, or it's like a toy in a doll, like a dollhouse or something. Although the colors would probably say otherwise. But you can see how photorealistic this is starting to become just by adding that. We haven't even really, we got a little bit of kind of like forced HDRI shadowing here, but it's really coming to life, and we haven't even done anything yet. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and kind of close this up, and we're probably going to be moving into Photoshop to build up our different tool set photo files in preparation for all of the work that we're going to be doing.